So starting on the outside of the Quantum, I'm just going to show you a handy little feature which a lot of people don't know about. So we give you the step with the trailer. Now this step, for storage purposes during traveling, actually locks inside the step. So that'll be its travel position for you. So it's not going to move anyway, it's not going to damage anything. It's there as soon as you open your door, so you've got it on hand. So a good little feature there. Now, main door. You've seen the main door, I'm guessing, already on some of the other videos, but just so you know, we use the same door in all the trailers now. So for dust sealing, brilliant feature with these locks top and bottom to pull it all in square, and then you've got a separate section in here that'll allow some airflow to come in through the day. Now, I've already set my external kitchen up, so you can kind of get an overview of everything there. Nice and easy to set up, nice and easy to pack away. So this really is the selling feature to the Quantum. So you've got your lift-up pantry for storage here. So ideal for Tupperware containers, tins, sauce bottles, cereal boxes, all them little things. This has got its own lighting, which isn't switched on at the minute, but both lights will control together. We've got a 3-burner stove, sink, nice preparation area, plenty of storage in here. So you've got storage underneath in your nice big drawer. You've got these storage shelves above, which is where you can option things like drawers in if desired, but the open shelving is as standard. Slide across pantry. So great for pots and pans, them deeper items. And then you've also got a cutlery drawer underneath here as well. So great volumes of storage, everything's on hand. So this is where, as I say, the big selling feature for the Quantum is predominantly all outside cooking. So 82-litre fridge freezer standard. So just to give you an idea of the size of that for you. And as you can see, what we've done here is we've actually pulled the sink drain down, which is just on the side of the sink itself, and then we've put a bucket under there. So that'll just show to you how you'd function this setup. Once you've pulled all that out, you just lean this hose down into that sink bucket just so you can capture your water then. Gas bayonet as well. A few people have brought it up on some of the other videos. So it just shows you the lead is on the back of the actual kitchen unit, and then it just plugs into that bayonet point there. So nice and easy. That'll be part of the sequence where you set this kitchen up. You've also got your power points under there as well as standard. So mains inverter point, TV point, 12-volt socket, all standard. So moving round from the kitchen, pole carrier hatch on the front, which is accessible from both sides. So this is mainly going to be where you're going to store poles and your anti-flap kit, which we actually give you a standard with this unit, which is for your awning. You've got an external tap here just for filling a bucket, washing your hands, just convenience. Stabilizer leg, so you can see this leg here, we've got a leg in each corner, so this is to help stabilize the trailer. You've got 2 jerry cans on the front as standard. Nice stone mesh guard across the front for protection purposes. This does store a few items underneath as well, again for protection. So diesel heater tank is just situated over the back there. One thing that's been optioned onto this, which is very common on the Quantums, is getting an extra gas bayonet point at the front. So because we give you such a nice big drawbar area, you can actually use this as a bit of a bench, for instance, and then plug your lead over into that gas bayonet point. So that is an option and quite a common one. Big storage boot in the front, so a few items in there, but big area just for your tables, your chairs, things like that. Firewood rack above, so this is another common option for the Quantums, so not standard, but again a lot of people do option for this. Drawbar area is kept quite long on our trailers, more to suit some certain tow vehicles with a barn door, so your Prados, your Pajeros, but it also means that you've got a good turning angle there. So if you're getting your car into some tight situations and you're getting on some quiet angles, basically you're not going to hit the stone guard, you've got a good turning circle there. ESC standard on the Quantum, so as long as you stick with your drum brakes as standard, you've got the electronic stability control. You've got your macerator pump outlets here as well for draining the toilet. DO35 hitch, which is standard on all trailers. And then you've got the arc jockey wheel, which is the 750 kg rated. So very heavy duty, dual wheel, makes it a lot easier for maneuvering the trailer. Just moving round now to the driver's side. So we've got a pole carrier hatch again, which we said were accessible from both sides. Gas bottles are stored inside the trailer, so they're in their own little compartment there where it's actually sealed off from the cabin, but it's still vented through for gas regulations, obviously. So we can lock that up. big pull-out storage bin. So great little handy feature for this trailer. A lot of your items that you're going to want quick access to are going to be stored in here. So toilet hoses, pegs, ropes, maintenance kit bags, all that side of it can be in here, which is what you can see in this particular one. And then now in this one, this would normally be an open storage compartment. In this particular one, again, the option that this customer's gone for is air conditioning. So we'll touch on that later, just on how to work this, but basically that unit lives there. You don't do anything with it. You've just got to drop down this compartment when you want to run it. River access feature, which is on your front tank. So I don't know if you can see that, but just underneath on the side of the tank, you've got a sequence of plumbing just here. So this is where you can draw from an outside source, which is standard on all our trailers and on the front tanks. Water tank fillers. So standard on the Quantum, you've got 280 litres of water, which is split between two 140s. So this is where you'll fill each tank individually. So the two taps that we touched on earlier inside, this is where you're allocating whether you're drawing from the front tank or whether you're drawing from the rear tank. Plug-in point, so this is where you'll plug in 240, whether you're at a caravan park or whether you're at home in storage. That's where you get your power in. And then this here is for our gas hot water system. So the cover's down on this one at the minute. You can see when it's closed up, that's just stopping anything from getting into that hatch. So this would be for river crossings, dust, things like that. So all you've got to do when you want to run your hot water system is A, make sure your gas is on, and B, make sure this cover's down. So nice and easy. Standard rim and tyre, so depending on your tow vehicle, we'll match it to suit, as long as it's not European. That's where we have a few issues with Europeans. But in terms of Rangers, Cruisers, Prados, all of that side of it, we'll supply you with a 17-inch steel rim with a Cooper AT3 tyre, and the standard size is a 265/70/17. Now moving round to the rear, so this one's got quite a popular option, which is the generator box option. So because this customer's gone with the air conditioning, he's going to carry his generator on the rear here. So it's in its own little box, it's not taking up any storage in the trailer. And then with this package, when you get the generator box, you also get 2 additional jerry cans. So 2 jerry can holders on the rear, generator box, that is all optional, very common around air conditioning. Now, spare tyre sits in the middle. So there is obviously different options on the rear as to whether you want dual spares, whether you want extra jerry cans, generator boxes. So this setup shows the generator box. You'll always have 1 spare in the middle. So on this spare, good little feature on the bag that we give you is you've got a storage compartment in there. So it comes in really handy for the toilet hoses or even just for rubbish. Just keeps it away from the trailer and stops everything from messing the trailer up. On the rear of this one, another option which this particular customer's gone for is the Selfie Go unit, which this is the antenna for that unit. So we'll touch on that a bit later on, but it's basically a signal booster for internet. Standard feature, plug-in point for the TV aerial. So whether you take an aerial through us or whether you bring your own, you'll always get the plumbing, which is where, on the rear, this is where your aerial is going to plug into. And just up here, you've got the radio aerial. So the aerial's not in at the minute, this is just the base of it. The aerial itself just connects onto here, and that's just for radio, is this one. Also, while we're here, it's a bit hard to see, but as standard on all our trailers, you've got an external shower point. So a brilliant feature for beach camping. We give you an additional shower hose, which you can plug into there, and then you've got your hot and cold tap there as well. And then lastly, just while we're here, I'll show you the little lazy leg that we give you. So because the Quantum is more tailored around quick stops and being able to easily pack up, easily set off, there is this leg on the rear which is just designed for overnight stays. If you're leaving the car fixed on, rather than having to drop down all 4 legs to stabilize the trailer, this leg at the rear, you can allocate your closest hole, lock this down. You can take up a bit of slack with the jockey wheel if needed, but that is just going to lock this back end in and stop that movement as you're coming in and out of the trailer. So this is very, very handy, especially for them quick overnighters. Alrighty, so sticking with the Quantum, I'm just going to give you a bit of an overview generally inside what the Quantum offers. This is a customer's trailer, so there may be a few items in this one that's additional, which I'll try and outline as we go. So firstly, big windows. You've got a nice big window on this driver's side, so whoever's sleeping on that side does get a little bonus there with that window. Smaller window across onto your passenger side, mainly to do with the pantry, which we can see the back of here. So that's your wall storage from outside of the trailer. Standard in the Quantum, you've got the 8-inch inner spring mattress, which is standard across the board. So a nice mattress there, nice and comfy. You've got lights, as you can see, situated in the pelmet all around the trailer. So these, you can individually switch them on and off, and you can actually twist them as well. So you can move the light to where you want it. So for instance, reading lights, a lot of people with the pop tops will try and utilize these lights as reading lights instead of optioning more in. Obviously, because you can twist them lights, you can actually turn them into the pelmet to give you a bit more of a dimmed light. We can see the two speakers situated at the head of the bed, so they're good that they're close to the window. So if you do obviously want to get a bit of noise outside, you can open your windows up and that'll transfer out quite nicely. Down the side of the bed, I'll just try and get Wendy to highlight down the side. You've got your tie down points, so they're standard. So they're more tailored around, obviously you've got quite a big area in this area when your roof comes down. So for storage reasons, anything that you've got that's quite big that you can't necessarily fit into your outside lockers, or it may be just something that stays inside the trailer, you can strap it to your bed during transit. So do come in very, very handy. You would have seen on what Wendy just did down the side of bed then that there was two vents. Now that vent is there, you'll have one either side there for air conditioning, so not standard. If you were to go air conditioning, that's where the vents would be, one either side, and then you'd end up with one in the seating area as well. So again, not standard in this particular trailer. You'll always get one fan as standard, so that's what we see here. You can option in a second fan, which is a common item even around air conditioning. Some people go that way as well, but definitely a good thing, obviously, just for these smaller areas, just to get some air transfer in. Roof skirt, so you've got your windows in your roof skirt, nice and easy to open. This is the beauty of the pop tops, getting the airflow in here and also the light. These have all got midgie meshes on, so you're not going to get any little bugs in, hopefully, during the night. Corner cabinet is standard as well, so a good little addition in the Quantum. Which is standard in this, you'd have the GPO in there, which is your mains inverter point. This customer's optioned for a 12-volt socket in there as well. So being that you've got these shelves in there, you can easily store items, good for charging phones and things through the day. So just moving down to the back of the trailer, we've got the rear vanity. So this is going to be your main chunk of storage. 3 bigger drawers there, which are nice, quite big drawers there. So good for clothes and items. Underneath you've got a bit of an area that we leave open, more tailored around shoes, so this retaining lip will actually stop the shoes from falling forward, which comes in handy. Small cutlery drawer here. Stereo situated in there as standard, which is USB capable, Bluetooth capable, CD player if anyone has CDs anymore. So pretty much covers all bases. You can upgrade that if needed, but realistically that does everything you need. Power points down the back are standard, so you've got your mains inverter point, which is your automatic switching system. You've got double USB point, and you've also got a 12-volt cigarette lighter socket. So these are standard, as well as a TV plug-in point. So on the rear you'll have an aerial input, which we'll touch on in a second. Inside and outside you'll have TV points where you can connect to that aerial. So standard features, you've got the rear vanity sink, so just good for washing off on a night, brushing teeth, things like that. So that'll have hot and cold water as long as your hot water system's on. Little shelf above, so it just comes in handy for items during the day. You can just store them on there, your toothpastes and stuff like that. So again, all included in the standard price. Toilet and shower, so the big selling feature. Obviously our system's quite different with a macerator system to what most people have seen before. So you'll see this in all our trailers with a toilet and shower combo internal. So Wendy's giving you a close-up there just for spacing, so obviously you have got enough room to function in there. You're not having to straddle the toilet to shower. So just sticking with the storage on the Quantum, you've seen the bigger drawers in the rear vanity of the Quantum. You've also got 3 drawers under the bed. So again, just additional storage. Internal, it's going to be mainly soft storage. Obviously everything to do with cooking kitchenware is going to be outside in the external kitchen area, so all these drawers do come in handy just for soft storage. So standard queen bed, there is obviously variations there to get single, but the queen is always the standard. And then while I'm here, I'll just also touch on these little things on the seat module. So just at the base of the bed on this seat module, you've got the night light switch, which as we can see, so this is the one that we touched on earlier in the PowerPoint, saying that that's got constant power to it. Air conditioning vent, so because this trailer's got air conditioning, which is an option, that's where the vent is. You've got two here which are around your diesel heater, so the outlet is actually this one. This is just an inlet, so all your hot air will be pumping out through that side. Table mount base, which we've already touched on earlier on. The air conditioning eyelet, so this is where your remote will actually control the system, and then next to this, which is your standard inclusion, is your gas hot water system. So this is where you operate between 60 and 70 degrees. You can see inside the Quantum here with your seating area, the table is actually hidden underneath the driver's side. So a lot of people ask us where the table is. Obviously, one, you're not going to use it too often in a Quantum, being that you're predominantly outside. So we like to store it out of the way just so it's not taking up any storage or hard to access when needed. So if we lift the backrest off, lift the base of the seat up, you'll then see where the table actually lives. Now, what I'll do while we've got this here, with these style tables, the Lagan table as we like to call them, you've got two brackets. So one bracket is going to sit into the mount on the base of the seat module, and then this is going to dictate the height. So firstly, if I put this one in, one thing I will outline with these, anytime you're going to put this on, this ratchet style lever needs to be somewhere near tight. Obviously, if you've got it down the bottom, it's going to be hard to get a full turn on this once it's close to this module. So that's somewhere near tight. I'll loosen that off enough just so I can slide it in. So this will sit in, and then I can basically lock it from there. If you do need a bit more of a turn, there's a button on here which you can press in, which will allow this lever to move, and then we can get it into position where we can tighten it up a bit more from there. So one's in. This will then lock on top. Same thing, you'll loosen these off to a point where you can nip them up again. So we can sit that on top, lock this one in. We will now lift the table out, and you'll see that this has got a little dowel on the bottom that's going to locate into the last hole on these brackets. So once we lock this in, we can then swivel the table to where we want it to be. If any of your levers in the way, like this back one is at the minute, again, just use the ratchet style mechanism to just loosen that off and get it out of the way. And then as you can see, we can move this table, and it does oscillate as well, which will give you different angles, so we can sit that where we need it to be then. Now there is a cutout in one of the corners which is actually tailored around your corner cabinet in the Quantum. So if we point that towards the corner cabinet, we can sit that fully out of the way, which in turn during the night or something like that, it'll still allow you to get in and out of bed and still have access to this corridor. So nice and easy. When you've finished, obviously you'll lift this back out, you'll store your legs away, which most people tend to store them in one of your bigger drawers. Pack the table back under, nice and easy, it's out of the way then. So last thing we'll touch on in the Quantum as we leave the trailer is just your PowerPoint module. So now with the FinScan, obviously a lot of your separate switches have gone. So in this case, being that it's a standard set out here, you'd have the 3.5-inch screen FinScan, which is all touchscreen. So this is where you'll control your internal lights, your external lights, your fridges, your water pump. It's all done through here. Separately, you'll have your diesel heater controller. So for the diesel heater, it's very simple. All we need to do is turn this on. Give that a couple of minutes. As long as you've got diesel in there, that'll start pumping the warm air out through here then. So this is where now you'll be checking everything. Obviously with the FinScan you can link that through to your phone, which in turn will obviously mean that if you sat outside you can check your water tank levels and switch your lights on through there as well. So very handy feature. And then lastly guys, you've got your fire extinguisher in here as well. So obviously for regulations now, we've got to give you a fire extinguisher, and you've also got a smoke alarm in the roof.